So Halloween, let's go from the perspective of if you're having trick-or-treaters come to your house, I really want to encourage people to have some creative way of distancing. If you are going to be handing out candy yourself, make sure that you are gloved, masked, and a face shield. It's the safest way to be. And I think you'll enjoy it more if you know that you're safe. Several people have come up with these really cool things. If you have time, because you've got a little over a week at this point, they've come up with this really clever thing where you get PVC pipe, just one PVC pipe, and you can decorate it however you want. And you put it on a slant so that kids come up to the pipe and you put the piece of candy and it comes down the pipe and can go into their bag, which I think is really clever. And I think the people who do that will be doing the coolest thing ever. I also want to say that I'm a big fan of the turquoise pumpkin. There's always a turquoise pumpkin movement at this time of year that if you put a turquoise pumpkin out on your step, it means that you are a home that offers treats that don't involve sugar. So we always have an array of pencils and like little shaker things and little canisters of Halloween bubbles. And we have they like spider rings. And the thing that's the most popular, and they're fairly inexpensive if you get them enough in advance, and I think maybe with a week you might be able to, is to get the glow sticks. So we get glow sticks, and my husband and my son and I have so much fun because we snap them all. Well, that's not true. We snap a large portion of them so they can get one that's not snapped if they prefer, but we'll snap a bunch of them and put them together in bracelets. And I've got a big, big bowl that's candy, and I've got a big, big bowl that's all the treats. And I got to tell you, over 50% of the kids choose the non-candy treats, which makes me extra happy. And it's very interesting what they'll choose. A lot of them like the pencils. Sometimes we have erasers. We make sure that everything is big enough that it's a no choking hazard, right? But overwhelmingly, hands down, the glow bracelets go first. They love it. And it helps, if you think about it, it helps with safety as the night gets darker. The kids put them on right with their costumes, and it's super duper fun. So that's if you're having Halloween trick-or-treaters come to your house, okay? If you have kiddos and you're wondering whether to trick-or-treat, I will tell you, there's a plus here, right? That a lot of people tell me about, oh, my kiddo won't wear a costume, my kiddo won't wear a mask, right? So some places are allowing you to do drive-by trick-or-treating, and then your child you can put them in their pajamas, right? And stay in the car, and people are putting treats in the trunk. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If your kiddo will wear a mask, it's a great way to reinforce the mask wearing, right? But for a lot of us, we don't get to trick-or-treat. And if you have a child on the spectrum and you have concerns about your health or their health, I would encourage you to trick-or-treat at home. There's no reason why you can't do trick-or-treat at home. We used to rehearse trick-or-treat all the time at home. And what we would do is we would put even just one decoration on each door of the house. I mean, every bathroom door, every closet door, every door in or out. We put some little decoration on it. And my husband and I, and sometimes I'd have a friend do it, we'd take turns, and we would have the kiddos stand on the other side of the door, knock. We would open the door, and they would say trick or treat, and we would give them candy. And of course, my husband, who's such a stitch, sometimes, because we have different costume pieces around the house for various and sundry events and previous Halloweens and stuff. So he would be like a different person at every door and have a different voice and whatever. And you know what? It's okay to do trick or treat that way. It's absolutely okay to do that. I know people that have they're so clever. They have little kids, and from the beginning, they've created a pod. You could do it now. You have to find like-minded people who are distancing in the way that you're comfortable with, because you have your limits. Everybody's different, right? And that's okay. You have your limits and other people have their limits. You just have to make sure your limits match up, because you're not only going to expose them to everybody you've seen, they're going to expose you to everybody they've seen. So you got to be comfortable with who is acceptable in that circle, but you create a pod. And it's got to be people you trust. And hopefully they have kids that play well with your kids. And so they're doing Halloween parties. Like they're doing one friend is doing like an Easter egg hunt, but with Halloween candy. So they're putting Halloween candy in eggs and hiding it all over the place. And they have to go and find it. And they have all these games that they're playing. You know, I think some kids are old enough and aware enough that they know that they're missing something that they've typically done during Halloween. But if you think about it, the Halloween years, there's only a few years in the middle where kids get it and enjoy it, right? There's just a few years in there. And so a lot of kids aren't aware of what they're missing. It's more the adults. We know they're missing it. And we have to be open to looking at it in a different way. And one of those Halloweens that my son actually got it and understood that it was Halloween and what was expected of him, and he wanted to participate in it. I think I shared this the other day. I couldn't find a pumpkin. There was a pumpkin shortage. There was like a pumpkin blight where we were, and the pumpkins that had been earlier in the month were really expensive, and pumpkins go bad fast in Southern California. You cut them and the next day they're moldy. It's just one of those things, right? I couldn't find a pumpkin, couldn't get a pumpkin. I was like, I'm a bad parent. I've blown Halloween because I can't get a pumpkin. And Jem was doing well enough that because of good ABA, he was like, well, do we have to have a pumpkin? Could we get a watermelon? And we were at Walmart and there were no pumpkins, but there was a big thing of watermelon. He was like, why can't we cut a watermelon? And I was like, really? You'd be okay with that? Yeah. So we cut the watermelon and we cut a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern face in it, stuck a candle in it, ate watermelon all night, and we're happy campers. And now the truth of the matter is all these years later, he always is like, why don't we do that every year? Why are we dealing with a pumpkin that gets moldy that we throw away the next day? Why aren't we just eating watermelon? It's just as much fun. It's easier to carve. Just saying. You know, sometimes doing it a different way isn't the end of the world. It's how we start new traditions.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.